thin. He's been taught by the world around him that you have to live about yourself, you have to survive, and that's basically...
Or what?
They're leaning into woke. Hardcore.
They're petrified of some kind of backlash.
I'm really upset that it's the biggest theme here is that it's anti-men. She called him a...
How dare you want to meet a handsome prince and be swept off of your feet and live happily ever after? No.
So the two stars hate each other.
She possesses this childlike wonder, but also this self-assured.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. There's a big focus on her love story.
This is not like the traditional Prince Charming and type.
By the hair.
Yeah, the hair, he's kind of scruffy. He has a hoodie.
Please stop changing all of the historic plots, which actually have meaning, to instead become generic woke story about how a woman leads revolutionary uprising and she don't need no man.
A lot of people will assume it's a love story just because, like, cast a guy in the movie. Andrew Burnap, great dude.
You to say all of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Like, who are you? Are you Disney? What is the premise? What is the story?
Love story.
Disney's Snow White remake also face-planted over a cliff, landed in a crater, and brought down many other projects. Prince Charming going missing, Rachel Zegler's PR blunders, and a studio in complete disarray. Because of the absence of Andrew Burnap, Rachel's awakened actions extended to her co-stars. Rachel has sought to minimize his participation in the movie, and no one has questioned his absence during all of this. How many issues were there between Rachel and Andrew, then? Did they even get along? Let's have a look at it. When asked about his role, Andrew was unable to describe it since he was so perplexed by how they had destroyed the Prince Charming persona.
Then is a person of the world, I think in an ever-darkening world, surviving, but yet secretly looking for that sense of hope again.
Not having enough to eat, not having a home, not having those around him.
They literally made Prince Charming into a bum. It's ridiculous. No wonder this guy was pissed off and didn't want to be seen with Rachel.
Weird.
They turned Prince Charming into a real jerk. It is absurd. It makes sense why he was upset and didn't want to be seen with Rachel. Odd. Strange. First, let's address the most evident warning sign. There was not a single interview that the film's two main characters, Rachel Zegler and Andrew Burnap, did together. None at all. Their press trip was even planned like a clumsy high school skit. Andrew made an appearance by himself on Good Morning America the next day, March 21st, after Rachel's appearance on the show on March 20th. It seems to be solo missions exclusively. They were never together in the film, as was the case with most of their interviews. It appears that, like Rachel and Gal Gadot, he did not get along with Rachel. Perhaps Andrew turned away from Rachel because of her strong feminism and awakened beliefs. Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively were the last two movie stars to give interviews without one another. Does this circumstance differ from the one that occurred there, as I believe we already know what happened? To top it all off, Andrew somehow skipped the red carpet premiere by not even showing up. Fans noted that he avoided eye contact and appeared to prefer being somewhere else in his greatest film role to date. And that was embarrassing indeed. This is when things become even more messy. The role of Andrew Burnap was essentially eliminated. During the press conference, Rachel publicly said that all of Andrew's sequences may be removed. After being cast in your first major Disney film, can you imagine hearing if she was correct or if her character was more related to his? It was previously believed that she had made it quite evident that a prince of any type is not necessary in this princess narrative. According to current speculations, Andrew was not happy with the way things turned out, particularly after being marginalized and openly disparaged by his co-star after being promoted as the prince. He secretly blames Rachel, according to sources, for turning the film into a PR disaster and destroying what might have been a pivotal moment in his career. Not to mention how pointless and degrading his entire position was. What exactly was his role? They didn't symbolize real love, and they didn't have a spark. Is there a man in the movie, just to be sure? Well, I suppose. If you were Andrew Burnap, would you be content in this role? When he first signed up, perhaps things were different. As is well known, several reshoots and changes were necessary for this movie. That he would be angry with Rachel for her public remarks on his involvement is therefore not surprising. It was Rachel Zegler's personal goal to make this film fail. She disparaged the original Snow White on many occasions, calling the prince a strange stalker, downplaying the romance, and coming across as far too talented for the part, all of which upset people. Not with Disney executives, not with fans, and most definitely not with David Halehan, the son of one of the original Snow White directors, who said Zegler had no regard for the work that his father and Walt Disney had produced. In one forced interview, Disney made her essentially retract everything. She tried to say things like, "Oh no, the love story was always there. I just wasn't talking about it that day." And then the worst humiliation of all, empty theaters. In an attempt to salvage face, Zegler went to the movie with friends, but when she arrived, the theater was essentially deserted. After that moment was shared on Instagram, a trend of individuals recording themselves seeing Snow White in almost silent, deserted theaters was born. It was vicious and went viral. Once the dust settled, Snow White suffered the worst second-week decline of any live-action Disney film, falling 66%. The film received harsh criticism from critics, had a sharp decline in IMDb ratings, lost audience interest, and ultimately cost Disney an estimated $250 million. The repercussions were severe. The failure of Snow White and the criticism of its woke artistic approach prompted Disney to abandon its planned live-action Tangled remake, according to insiders. Zegler removed more than one film then. Disney is revamping their whole studio because she terrified them so much that she may have destroyed an entire remake pipeline. They stopped filming Tangled, according to rumors, because they cast another awakened actress and knew that revealing who it was would spark a fan revolt. Consider Cynthia Erivo being chosen to play Rapunzel. Just wait if you thought the problem couldn't get much worse. Gal Gadot, who plays the Wicked Queen, and Zegler also had disagreements. For what reason? Given that Gal is Israeli, a former IDF soldier, and outspoken about Palestine, Rachel utilized the Snow White trailer release to tweet her support for the cause. What was the outcome? In an attempt to control Zegler, producers came to New York. Disney had to pay more security for Gal, and Gal began getting threats. As a spoiler, it didn't work. Rachel then stepped up her efforts, targeting Trump supporters this time. She stated in a since-deleted tirade that she hoped Trump's followers and he would never experience peace. And closed it with Donald Trump's nice, blunt F. Supporters of MAGA, predictably, went crazy, asking that she be removed from the movie and for a complete boycott of Disney. Disney went into full panic mode once more, forcing her to make a well-crafted apology. It's too little, too late. Disney had done everything they could to keep Zegler out of the movie industry at the end. They halted her press trip, hired social media experts, and had producers oversee her public relations initiatives. She allegedly contemplated bringing a discrimination and wrongful termination lawsuit against the studio. Disney was secretly working up a way to never collaborate with her again in the meantime. What does that mean for us then? There was a $250 million crater, a missing prince, a talking princess, and a studio left to pick up the pieces. Is Rachel Zegler capable of recovering? Will Disney be able to save its live-action plan? Or did Snow White provide the mouse house with the much-needed wake-up call? If you have any comments, please share them with me. I'll see you tomorrow for another video.